the awkward time where I don't know if I'm alive or not alive. I got to wait till the chat rolls in. I got to see who's first in the chat. As you guys know, I've been warning you. I told you a couple of weeks ago, I am going to go live at different times. And here we are. It is a different time. What a wonderful time to be alive. So I hope everybody is doing well. Letting the chat load. Are we doing well? Are we making money? Are we making moves? Are we moving, popping, and shaking? How are we doing? Again, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is doing fantastic. Right now, I don't see anybody. What are we doing? Are we out there? Are we not out there? Are we alive? Are we not alive? Are we here? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. Are we here? Are we not? I don't know. All right, we got some people in the chat. We have made it. First place medal, Jean Queen. She holds the record for first place gold medals. Second place, we have Mario Morris. Third place, we have D Bush. We are coming live on location. I told you guys, I'm going to start coming live at different times as I'm traveling around. Try to get it in on Wednesdays and maybe go at live at different times to talk to new people, meet new people in different time zones, different countries, different places like that. Because when I go live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, I'm live and rocking and rolling. But on the West Coast, they're just getting out of work. In the UK, they are asleep. In Australia, they might not even be awake yet. So I want to go live at different times to talk to different people. So I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is finding success. I hope everybody is getting good items, listing the best items that they can find and getting them for the best price that they can find them for. Not getting the cheapest items that we can find, getting the best items that we can find them and doing that. And that's what we're doing. All right, real quick. I need everyone, if you have a question, put 3 question marks in the front of your question. I want to knock out as many questions as humanly possible. That is my goal right now, knocking out as many questions as humanly possible. So please type all of your questions, put question marks, and let's rock, let's roll. So if you have questions, let's get it. I hope everybody is doing well. David said, thank you for the help yesterday. I appreciate it, man. It's always nice to help people. I hope you guys are finding success. I hope you guys are living your version of the dream and living the life and building the business around the life that you want to live. So let's get some questions rocking. Put 3 question marks in the chat. Let's rock, let's roll. I think the other day, I went out to the flea market last weekend, found some great stuff. Went out today, found some fantastic stuff. I found a hat that sells for about $300. This is funny though. I found a hat that sells for $300. And as I was looking at the hat, showing you guys on the video, another reseller walked up to me and he goes, oh, I thought that was something else. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, oh, I thought that was a good one. And I go, what's wrong with this one? He goes, nah, I just thought it was a good one. And I go, it'll probably sell for like $300. And he goes, if you're lucky on your best day. And I promise you, every day of the week, that hat sells for $300. So that's why we have to know, because if we don't know, we will miss those items and we will miss those opportunities. So we have to know, because I wasn't the first one to see that hat, but I was the first one to know that that hat was worth between $300 and $400. So put 3 question marks in the front of your questions so I don't miss anybody. I want to knock everybody out. Brand Fine Thrift said they found 13 Elaine Fisher's tops. Very good. So Lunchable Connoisseur says they're on their way to pick up a whole bunch of garage of a Christmas stuff with the truck and trailer. We talked about this morning. You have to be careful. This happens every single year. You have to be careful listing the vintage Christmas bubble lights. People find them, people list them, and they end up getting zeros. I believe it has methane chloride in them, and that is a hazardous material, hazardous gas. You cannot list any of the vintage Christmas bubble lights, and even a lot of the bubble lights that are present day still contain this kind of chemical or gas or liquid. So never, ever, ever list any of the bubble lights on the eBay machine. Does eBay remove some items from your store if they haven't sold after some time? In the user agreement, it does say that they can remove them. In my experience, I have never had an item removed because it's been up for too long. In most situations and scenarios where items are removed, they are removed due to user error. Does it maybe happen once in a while where eBay takes items down? Maybe. But every single instance that I've seen that I've heard of, it is because of user errors. So user error could be an unpaid item case that you forgot to relist, a cancellation that you forgot to relist, a return that you forgot to process. I can sit here and honestly say I have never had an item removed by eBay that wasn't my fault. So what else do we got? Um, Gene Santos says, I got myself in some debt mixing personal and business credit. It is overwhelming. What should I do? I mean, first and foremost, that's unfortunate. We should have two separate accounts so we do not commingle our funds, especially if you are incorporated. If you're incorporated and you're commingling funds, what you're doing is piercing the corporate veil. That is the legal and technical term. If you pierce the corporate veil, even though you do have an LLC can offer some protections. Does it offer 110% protections? The answer is no. But can it offer some protections against some liability? It can. But if you do what's called piercing the corporate veil, commingling personal funds with business funds or commingling two businesses into the funds, then you're doing what's called piercing the corporate veil. And if the opposition has a good enough attorney, they can sue you back to the Stone Age and then open up all of those other items and all of those other funds into the same conversation because the corporate veil has been pierced. So if you are running a business or even if you're a sole proprietor, definitely try to get two bank accounts. Now, this is not financial advice. Definitely speak to an accountant. A lot of accountants, CPAs, tax professionals, bookkeepers, they will give you a free consultation to sit down. Remember, if it is free, you are the product. So they are there to try to sell you on their services. So just keep that in mind. But that's not a bad thing. Like a lot of resellers probably need to pay for professional service as far as their numbers and bookkeeping going. So that way they don't put themselves in a bad position. And that way they have a fundamental understanding of how their business works and what's going on. So the advice that I would say is, if you could go back in time, separate your accounts into one business, one personal account. Even if you are a sole proprietor, just keep it separate for any reason other than eBay. Once you sign up to eBay, they can reach into your personal account, and we don't want them to do that. Like if our rent is coming out of our personal account and eBay reaches in there and now we can't pay the rent, then we're in big trouble. So you want to try to get everything separate because you are giving eBay the ability and the permission to reach into your account and take funds if need be. So now that you are in a jam, we may have to stop reselling. We may have to go get a job. We may have to drive Uber. We may have to work for a buddy, work for a friend. We may have to go back to the workforce. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to do that or you can't do that for whatever reason, you have to double down on what works, and you have to find profitable items, profitable inventory, and you have to get that stuff listed on eBay, and you got to get some money and you got to get some funds going. What's the minimum sell-through rate you would consider when deciding to buy an item? So my consideration is going to be different from your consideration because when I was doing eBay world domination and #1 in every single pre-owned men's clothing category, my threshold was a 6-month sell-through. So 180 days is what I aimed for on average. When I was running a smaller business, let's say 30 items a day, 120 items a day, my aim was a 90-day sell-through. So you're going to have to take into consideration your storage space. You're going to have to take into consideration how long you want your money to be out before it is returned with a profit. But every single sell-through rate is going to be different for every single person and their particular needs. And most usually, it's going to be weighed on what your storage capacity is and how quickly you need to get your money returned from your investment. How do you find comps for hats, as it's not as simple as model numbers? You have to use the pertinent keywords. You have to use the brand. Some hats do have names like Splash, Shark Tooth, Script, Big Logo. Those ones are easy, but the other ones that do not have names, you can do Google Lens. Google Lens is a tremendous resource nowadays. If this was 2 years ago, Google Lens was very wishy-washy, but now it pulls up just about everything. So if you are uncertain, pop up Google Lens on there and see what kind of comps it returns. It's going to show you something similar. And remember, we never comp 100% same exact item. We never comp or sell 100% the same exact item. We do sell similar, and that is the thing. We need to sell similar, where you need to decide, is your item cooler than the one that you're seeing? Is it not as cool as the one that you're seeing? And if it is cooler, we need to price higher. If it is not as cool, we need to price lower. So how do we judge coolness? Is it older? Is it a better graphic? Is it a better material? Is it a better logo? If it is, price higher. If it's not, price lower. We don't sell same exact. We sell similar. We don't comp same exact. We comp similar. How do I fix my store and have buyers be able to buy multiple items from my store? So eBay has been rolling out a new way of doing offers, where if a buyer sends an offer, the item can still be live until the buyer pays or somebody else pays. So if they do this, it's a little bit more difficult to do these combined shipping rates, because the item is still live. It has not been sold, and it's not in anybody's cart, and it's not available for you to send an invoice. Now, they also have rolled out immediate payment on best offer, and immediate payment on best offer also kind of goes against letting buyers stack up, make a multi-quantity purchase, and then pay with one reduced shipping cost. You can go into site preferences, seller preferences, and you can turn off immediate payment on best offer. That's what I've done. Now, if you turn this off, your unpaid item cases will go up, but your multi-quantity purchases will also go up, technically speaking. So for me personally, I have immediate payment on buy it now. I do not have immediate payment on best offer. What hat was it? It was a 1994 World Cup logo athletic, double shark tooth. I've sold the hat for upwards of 400. If you want a quicker sale, it's $300, and I got it for $3. Do you ever go to a thrift store or flea market and never find anything? I mean, in the beginning, yeah, but like nowadays, no. It's very, very difficult not to find anything nowadays. But you guys have to understand that this is the best version of me that you guys are seeing. You guys didn't see me 1 year in the game, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 7 years in the game. You guys are seeing 15 years in the game, touching, processing millions of items, touching, listing, photographing, hundreds of thousands, and selling hundreds of thousands of items. So these days, not a lot gets past me. But you just got to get better every single day, educate yourself every single day, add something new to your toolbox. And even for me today, like I'm adding new stuff to my toolbox every single day. My wife and I, we went into an antique store today. Did I want to catch them slipping? Absolutely, I did. But was that the goal to do? No, the goal was to go in there and see what they were pricing items at, and maybe put new items onto my radar or Rolodex that I can pick up, because I was doing my homework and I was studying. So, does it happen? It happens. It happens to the best of us. It will happen, but I would rather leave with no items than leave with a whole cart full of trash personally. What kind of selling rate are you looking for on the new hat store? So the hat store is just for a hobby. I have no goals, no aspirations for me. I still love eBay. I still like listing a couple items every single day. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. If I had to pay my bills and run a business, I would not just sell hats. I just do hats for fun. If you want to do only hats, I mean, good luck, man. Like, the sell through is very slow. The lack of keywords stunts the ability for the item to have visibility. So I just do it for fun. If I was doing it to maximize my money and like pay my bills, I would not. Like, am I going to sell around $100,000 in hats this year? Sure. But like, if I was depending on it to pay my bills, I would not only list hats. For hats, what do you think is the best rate for promoted listings? Again, that is going to depend on your storage situation and your financial needs, your expectation for the amount of money that you're putting out and the amount of money that's going to get returned. And you also have to have a fundamental understanding of your numbers. There's a lot of people in this chat, honestly, that are promoting themselves out of business because they don't know what their numbers are, and they are promoting too much and they are not making money or making enough money. They're selling more items. So like, increasing promoted listings to sell more items, like technically speaking, you will sell more items, but will you have more money in your bank account? The answer is going to be no. When you increase promoted listings, will you sell more items? The answer is yes. If you increase promoted listings, will you make more money? On an item by item basis, the answer is no. So that's something to think about. You need to know your numbers, and you need to know how many items you can store, and you need to know how long you want your money to be out before it gets returned for you. Real Love says sneak attack. I'm trying to tell you, I'm doing sneak attack. So you better go right down there next to the subscribe button, and you better click the notification bell, because I'm going live at different times to reach different people, help a new crowd, talk to new people, discover new people, have new people discover me. Sometimes I'll go at the usual time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes I might do it first thing in the morning. Sometimes I might do it at lunch. Sometimes I might even do it in the middle of the night to talk to different kind of people all over the world. So even today, a lot of people in the chat, I've never seen their names. So like, this is working. Coming on at a new time is working. Does anyone know the camera Tech uses so he doesn't have to answer the unanswerable? I use the Canon ELPH 180. It's very expensive now. At once upon a time, it was $100 brand new. Now it's $500 pre-owned. So is it the best camera? No, just get a camera that meet or exceeds those specs, and you'll be okay. Super Nolova says, does eBay remove items from your store if they have not sold after some time? We answered that one first of all. Tristan in the chat, how you doing? Saw him the other day. What are the keywords to find $300 hat comps? Do 1994 World Cup logo athletic shark tooth sort high to low. It's the one with the black, the yellow, the green, the red shark tooth logo on the front. During your visit to California, did you get a chance to shop in LA? Yeah, we did a few things in Los Angeles. We did a few things in San Francisco. We went to Anaheim. We had a good time out there. Pamela says they found a Chrome Hearts hat next to the garbage can in the post office parking lot. Definitely make sure that one is legit. There is a lot of fake Chrome Hearts, so definitely make sure it is legit. If it is legit, great one. Mike Joe says, how am I doing? Living the dream. Travis said, with your experience and knowledge, do you think there are other comparable niches to clothing in terms of simplicity, scalability, availability? It's a good question. I'm going to say no. Media is very simple, but highly saturated and easy to scale, but it's highly saturated. So you're going to need to carry a big store with small margins. Shoes is, a little bit harder to acquire. The process of cleaning is a little bit more difficult. But however, the profit margin is pretty good. Video games, they sell tremendously well, but trying to acquire them, I wish. So I think clothing is the best thing going, man, honestly. What's a good conversion rate in the clothing niche? So any question about what's a good conversion rate, what is a good promoted listings rate, all of that is subjective, and there is no answer to it. What is a good conversion rate? The answer is better than what you have today. So if it's better than what you have today, that's what we're striving for. That's what we're working for. That's what all of these questions are trying to point you in that direction. Because it's going to depend on many factors that go into your gumbo or into your soup, where that is your offer to the customer. So how good are your keywords? How good is your price? How good are your promotions? How good is your return offer? How good is your title structure? How good are your photographs? How good is your description? How quickly are you responding to offers? How good is your account health? All of these things go into play into our offer, and that's going to determine our conversion rate. So whatever your conversion rate is, just make it better than what it is today. That's what we're working on. Where are we? And Steve Chavez has a good point. You can type in words at the top of Google Lens to narrow down your surface. So that search. So that's a good point. When should I switch from part-time to a full-time eBay seller? So I would never advise anybody to quit their job and become a reseller. Reselling is extremely hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's extremely challenging. I would say if I were going to do it, and this is just advice of me self-reflecting, If I was going to do it, I would make sure that I have substantial savings. I would make sure that my bills are very low. I would make sure that my reselling income meets or exceeds my 9 to 5 income. I would make sure that I have a steady line on profitable inventory. I am not hurting for inventory. I am not scrambling for inventory. I would also make sure that I have weathered all 4 seasons of the reselling calendar, because the summer can be tough. Right now, we're about to come into, a better time for a lot of people, into Q4 and Q1, which historically were my best months. So I would take a real hard, honest look at my bank account, at my spending, at my access to inventory, judge it against my take home from the 9 to 5, and make sure that I know the seasonality of reselling. John Carr said they turned on the notifications because they missed the start of the live. I'm trying to tell you. And remember, guys, in the chat, hit the thumbs up button right underneath the screen, right here where I'm pointing, or it might be over here. I'm gonna guess here, right here underneath the screen. If you hit the thumbs up, it is scientifically proven, due to data on all of these lives, that after people hit the thumbs up button, they start to get sales immediately after. So if you have got a sale after you hit the thumbs up button, please post it in the chat. Melanie says, does vintage men's trousers harder to sell? I like selling men's pants and see a lot of vintage pants, but they have no labels. I am talking mostly the ones that have buttons for suspenders. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's probably something I would pass, because it has no brand and it's kind of like not the most in style, and it's kind of not the largest demographic of an eBay buyer. So if it was me personally, I would pass. If you wish to sell it, if you want to use strong keywords, if you have great margin and it fits your model, go for it. But me personally, I would probably give myself a better opportunity with something else. Mike Joe says, how do you ship your hats? What boxes do you use? I either use the 7x7x7 or the 8x8x8, or I use the 8x6x3 that I use my subscriber discount from eBay, from having an eBay store. And if you do have subscriber discount from your eBay store, that coupon is going to run out at the end of this month, September, at the end of September. And you will lose the coupon. So definitely go into your subscriber discounts. If you don't know how to find subscriber discounts, go to the Google machine, type in eBay subscriber discounts, and make sure you use your store coupon. And I use my store coupon for 8x6x3 boxes. And I don't use them for these hats. I use those for the dad hats, the ones that are more flat and don't have a great shape. For these types of hats, I use the 7x7x7s. Tim, how you doing? Workers are giving one guy all the good stuff from the back of the thrift. It can be discouraging. Is knowledge truly the difference between feeling defeated and getting ahead of this? It is, and maybe even going to a different location. If they have shenanigans at your thrift, just go somewhere else. It's okay. Where are we at? Where are we at? Michael says, thank you for the time that you put into these sessions. Huge shout out from north of Louisiana. How you doing? Where can I find your ruler to purchase? www.resellerruler.com. Leo says, glad to catch the live. Very good. So Sir Pedro says his girlfriend is constantly using the reseller ruler. He needs a second one ASAP. Well, you better jump on it. OMG Life, greetings from Germany. Shout out to you. Who is the furthest away right now? And you see, that's why we pick a new time slot, because OMG Life is the first one we've ever had on here from Germany. And when I go live at 8 p.m., everyone in Germany is asleep. So that's why we got to go live at different times. Who are some of the big sellers in the UK on eBay? There are a lot of big sellers in the group from the UK. One of them, Josh, he just got a tremendous prestigious award from eBay at eBay Open. Great guy, great seller. He's doing fantastic. There are a good amount of sellers in the UK in the group that do several 6 figures per year. We do have a dedicated UK sellers call in the group, and we also have a dedicated UK clothing call in the group. There are some sellers in the UK smashing it. Hanley, she's in the UK. She's doing several six figures, so they're out here. KT Treasures, what's happening? Bold Finds in the chat. Let's go. Bold Finds is in the UK himself. Here we go. New time slot. We got people from across the pond jumping in. That's what I like to see. Do you believe in karma? I do, man. I think good things happen to good people. And I think everything happens for a reason. And sometimes if I do stuff the wrong way, like even for instance, like turn the wrong way, leaving out of a cash register, I'll have to go back and return the right way just because it just feels out of whack with the universe. I don't think it's some kind of like OCD thing. It just feels out of whack with the universe. And you never know. Like, I just want to be in whack with the universe, make sure everything is on the up and up. If you were to pick one type of clothing garment to sell exclusively, what would it be? T-shirts, button-ups, hats, jackets, or jeans? I mean, I would never put myself in that kind of corner. If I had to pick tops or bottoms, I would go tops. Very good. Michael says, love your reseller rescue videos and would love to see some store reviews as well. Not sure if you do those in the group or not. Yeah, we do store reviews in the group. People post their store or they send it to me privately. And, I'm happy to look at it. But, at the end of the day, it comes down just to a couple of things. Title structure is incorrect. Pricing is incorrect. Or the items are highly saturated or simply not good. If you have great items, if you have the proper title structure and they're priced correctly, you're not going to have any problems at all. How do you know when to start doing promotions in your store? When you have a fundamental understanding of your numbers and when you can afford to do them. And doing promoted listings is you voluntarily signing up to pay eBay extra money for them to gain visibility on your item. You are paying eBay to help sell your items. That's all you're doing. So if you do not know your numbers, do not do promoted listings under any circumstance. If you're not a mobile guy, but do you know how to fill condition description on mobile? I find it on desktop, but can't find it on mobile. Absolutely. That's why I don't use mobile, because mobile, not everything is visible on mobile. So I am a firm believer in doing condition description. If you use it on mobile, that's a challenge. I'm 100% PC guy. One of my friends has a lot of debt and is trying to find a side hustle to increase his income and pay off his debt. Would you recommend reselling on eBay or something else? I mean, probably something else, man, to be completely honest with you, because like reselling is hard. People, they make reselling seem easy. I hope I've never come across and make it seem easy. I tell you guys how difficult this is as often as I humanly possible can. This is hard, man. If you want easy money, and by no means is any money easy. There's an old saying that I, subscribe to, that good money ain't easy and easy money ain't good. Like, there's a lot of other ways to get paid today, where eBay, we are voluntarily listing an item and hope it sells next week, next month, next year, depending on how good the item is and how good our offer is. So like, if you need money, you need to get paid today. Go find something else to do. Go drive Uber, go drive something, go do DoorDash, go get a job, go get a part-time job. But like, eBay is not money today. It's not easy money today. That's not how eBay works. Is eBay great money? Absolutely it is. But like, does eBay work? Yeah. Is eBay get paid later? Yeah. Is eBay the best way to multiply your money? Yeah. Zay says, I'm from Montreal. Any Canadian eBay sellers on the team? Inside of the group, we do have some great Canadian eBay sellers. If they're open to a Canadian only call, live call every single week, I'm open to it. But they do have their challenges. But yeah, there are some people in Canada that are crushing it as well. So Basket of Noodles says, actually got 2 best offer when I hit the like button. I'm trying to tell you guys, hit the thumbs up. Where are we on the thumbs up reader? Are we anywhere close to the world record? The world record for thumbs up in one live is 850 thumbs up. Now there's going to be close to 3,000 people that come on the live, and we can't smash the thumbs up record of 850. Like, come on, guys, let's smash the thumbs up record, please. We got to get a gold record. Did you do a lot of retail arbitrage, Ross and Kohl's? What's your take? I did not. I like the sure thing. I don't gamble. I don't speculate. I only do sure things. I only make money. I do not wait. I do not recoup. I do not break even. All I do is make money buying short things. And retail arbitrage is a little bit of a gamble and it's a little bit of speculation. Speculation is you're going to be the first one on eBay and the first one out. It's not going to get saturated and push the price down. And you're not going to get stuck holding until everybody sells their items, and then you can finally turn a profit. How many Veros and listings removed due to copyright before eBay shuts down your account? They don't release that information, but we want to try to limit our exposure to Veros and copyright infringement. Otherwise, eBay will take action on your account, maybe give you a 3-day vacation, maybe a 7-day vacation, a 10, maybe even a 30-day vacation. Maybe they just sit you down forever. When people do get suspended, it's not for no reason. Like, people don't get suspended for no reason. There is a clear-cut, crystal clear reason why they've been suspended. And if people don't know why they've been suspended, it's utterly false. So if you do get a Vero, if you do get a copyright strike, you want to stay away from those items, because eBay is particularly tough if you continuously get Veros for the same thing. So if you get a Vero for something, stop listing that item, because if you continue to get policy violations for it, they continue to get tougher, quicker and quicker and quicker. Also, the closer together your policy violations are, the more harsh the penalty is. So if you get like 3 or 4 policy violations real quick, they might restrict you and sit you down for a little bit. So they don't tell you how many. There is no magic number. Sometimes people get 1, sometimes people can get many more. So just try not to get them. And how do we not get them is we keep our ear to the streets. We make sure that we are aware of what items are dangerous, what items are not dangerous. We make sure that we're not listing these risky items. And when we hear of somebody else getting a Vero, inside of the group, we have a running Vero post where anytime someone gets a Vero, they update the post. We have a call all about Veros in the group. We have discussions about Veros on the post. You want to keep your ear to the streets on that. You want to check Instagram. You want to check other YouTube videos where people are saying that they got a Vero. And for me, I assess my liability. And if it's too much risk, then I'm out. I'm not going to list it anymore. Should I start offering returns? I am a huge proponent of offering returns. I am a huge proponent of offering free returns. I think it is the best buyer experience to offer returns. So I offer 60-day free returns. I think that's the best buyer experience. So that's what I do. Ever thought of writing a book or some type of workbook for selling? I don't think I'm that smart to write a book. So why does my store show less items than the actual listed amount? Is that from old buy it now listings being recycled into the system? I'm not quite sure, because there's a couple different ways. Are you saying that your actives on your back end of eBay show one number, where your active on the front end buyer facing shows another number? It could be that you're using the out of stock option and you have a lot of items on the back end that are out of stock with quantity 0. You have advice to people hunting for new places to thrift or finding flea markets? Yeah, so inside of the group, I did a great call on how to find flea markets, how to find thrift stores, how to find garage sales. You have to search Google Maps. You got to look at the photos and you have to judge whether it's a good flea market or not. And you guys know I drive 3 hours from my house, 5 hours from my house. I've gone to other states, and like clockwork, without fail, I've always found the best, greatest flea markets, and I always know the best days and what time to show up. I've never gone to a flea market and it's been an Alibaba one. All of this information is on the Google machine, and inside of the group, I showed how to identify the best ones and how to get there at the best times and on the best day. And I also found a new trick where someone in the group reminded me during one of the morning calls. I found a new trick on how to identify the best flea markets and what's the best day and time to go there. I'm from the UK, but not the one overseas. Very good. Will you be having Josh on the podcast? If Josh from the UK would come onto the podcast, he's kind of low key. Like I said, he did win a very, very prestigious award from eBay UK. If he would come on the podcast, I would love to talk to him, but he's pretty low key, so no stress at all. Where are we? Are you able to share how you're structuring your titles? I structure the titles um, with the buyer in mind. How is the buyer going to search? And remember that eBay is set up by default for best match. So I want to best match what the customer that I am looking for. I want to structure my title in that manner. And I also want to structure it in a manner where I have the widest reach and also have the narrowest reach, utilizing keywords that the proper to the proper level and the proper usage of the particular customer who's an expert and is actually looking for that item is going to search. So I get the widest net and I also get the most skewed in net, which is going to increase my conversion rate. I've only ever used mobile phone, never laptop. Is this hurting my business? You're trying to get me canceled here, YOLO flips, but I truly believe that only using the phone does hurt your business. When you were on your thrift route, how did you get through so many stores so quickly? Not having to look anything up, not having to do product research, zipping through, not wasting time, stopping, looking on my phone. I think that is the biggest time suck of a lot of people, where they have to look up tags. They're not familiar with comps. They're not familiar with certain brands, things like this. For me, I front loaded a lot of my information and a lot of my research. And there's been 2 times where I got a lot of blowback on podcasts. The most amount of vitriol and blowback that I've ever gotten on a podcast was when I told people in 2021, right during COVID times, as COVID was ending, that this is not the reality for resellers, that give us 2, 3, 4 years from now, and resellers are going to be crying the blues because right now stimulus money is raining from the sky. And a lot of resellers are going to be hurting in a couple of years and they're going to end up going out of business. That's what we see today. I said that 3 years ago in prime COVID, that a lot of resellers are going to get hurt. A lot of resellers are going to overextend themselves. And a lot of resellers are going to be crying the blues and going out of business because they have a false expectation of what reselling is. That was the most amount of negative, hateful, vitriol comments I have ever gotten on a podcast. Number 2, the number 2 time where I have got the most amount of hate ever on a podcast is when I beg and pleaded with people to front load the research so that way they are an expert when they go out and source. For whatever reason, people do not want to do the homework. They do not want to front load their research. They do not want to become an expert so that way when they're at the thrift, they don't have to look up comps. That way when they're at the flea market, they don't have to look up comps. Arvin was with me for 2 weeks. We hit every single flea market that we could in the state. We even went to Georgia. We hit thrift stores. We hit church sales. He was with me for 2 weeks. We bought thousands of items. He's on the podcast on record saying, I never reached into my phone and checked comps. Never. Rachel was over here the other week. And she hosts our Poshmark call, and she was on a podcast recently. I went to the flea market with her. I did not look at my phone on the comps. And that is because I took the time to research. I took the time to front load the knowledge. And if you don't want to take the time to research, you don't want to take the time to front load the knowledge, no problem. No problem. But it's going to cost you time on the back end when you're actively out there at the thrift store searching. How should I react to buy or resale of my items on eBay and return them if they don't sell? That's part of the game. If it's inside of your return window, that's kind of like a 2% problem. We can't worry about what happens 2% of the time. That's an outlier. And the most important thing to keep in mind with outliers is outliers don't scale. So don't worry about it. Put them on your block list and then prevent them from buying from you again. It's all good. It sold once, it'll sell again. Jennifer said, there are items made in China now that are vintage. How do you tell those from more current items? There are, and it's going to depend on the niche, but for clothing, you can look at the material makeup, you can look at single stitch, you can look at the tag. All clothing tags are from a different age and era. And if you go to the Google image machine, you can type in all vintage Hanes tags, and it'll give you a printout, an outline of all the tags. Real Vibe says, how are you doing? Love seeing you living the dream. I appreciate you asking. Advice on an inventory intake system for a small reseller. Currently, I document everything I buy in an Excel and then list it on eBay. Am I doing too much? I think that's tremendous, and congratulations for doing that. once you do get an understanding of your numbers, an understanding of your profits from your Excel spreadsheet, now you can get an average cost of goods. And then your average cost of goods, you can keep that rolling. So let's say this month your average cost of goods is $5.25. And let's say next month your average cost of goods is $5.75. You can average them together, and now your rolling average cost of goods is $5.50. So you no longer have to do line by line accounting for your average cost of goods. And that's a really good way to do it. But I commend you. That's something not a lot of people do, but a lot of people should be doing that. Joshua says they consider reselling the hardest, easiest job. That's pretty funny. I agree with that. I was wondering why I had a sale while driving 25 minutes ago. It was because you went live and you already know I instantly hit the thumbs up when I joined. That's the way there. You think price is the biggest issue of most sellers? I mean, technically speaking, yes, because everything has 100% sell through at a certain price. Like if you list garbage for 99 cents free shipping, like someone will eventually buy it. But can you make money? That's a different answer, a different discussion. All right, chat jumped. Where are we? As you guys know, once I beat the chat, it is a wrap and the game is over. So like once I beat the chat, we're out of business and we wrap it up and I see you guys next week. So get your questions in. What are some hot winter fabric materials that sell well, or your favorite material that sells? You know, anything of the wool variety, the cashmere variety. If you can get some vicuña, that'll do fantastic. eBay is charging me for my high volume, not as described. A few items have been disputed, but they are still charging me. Yeah, if your item not as described is in the too high range, they will absolutely assess you an additional final value fee. Definitely go on the bottom left-hand corner of your seller metrics page that has a thermometer on it, and click on the CSV spreadsheet. And you can appeal the defects. Whether or not eBay's crack staff of highly trained individuals removes them is a different story. But yeah, you should look at the pie chart as well and determine why your items are getting item not as described. And we need to focus on that. Is it arrived damaged? Then we need to ship better. Is it not as picture? We need to have more clarity on our photos. Very good. Changing my car boot route was a massive improvement to my business. There you go. The items are out there. They're just not where we're going sometimes. How do you ship multiple items? Print one label at a time, or pre-package the items in order and bulk print the label? So if it's a multiple item, I will put all items into one package. I will print the label for one transaction, and then I will copy and paste that tracking number and put it into the other item. So let's say 3 items go to one person. Print a label for one, put the tracking number in number 2 and number 3. eBay will update and it'll be all good. Have you heard of Veros given for used, new, old stock truck or car parts? I will also ask this question in the car parts call today, but just wanted to ask directly. Not too much. I can't recall really any real issues with that, Monty. Good to see you though. I'm glad to see you, Monty. My items are showing up on Google now, and I've never promoted an item, and I'm not a top-rated seller. Do you know why that is? eBay is one of the highest spenders on Google for ads, so all of our items are going to show up on Google in some way, shape, or form. What's the most items you sold in one day? Probably around 400. I think my best sales dollars day was like a little bit under 10,000. I don't think I've ever hit $10,000 in sales in a day on eBay. Have I hit $10,000 in sales off of eBay? Yeah, we do that every single day now. So like the eBay machine is fantastic, but the money is green every single place you get it, so long as you're making a profit. But I think the most items I've ever sold was around 400, maybe a little bit higher or a little bit lower. But I don't think I've ever cracked $10,000 in sales before on the eBay machine. We got Michelle here, Reseller Project in the building. How you doing? Gene Queen, how are you? Reseller George, how are you doing, my friend? He said people don't want the truth when they have rose tinted glasses. I know, man. It's hard to hear, but like I'm not here to be anybody's friend, honestly. I have a job and an obligation and a duty to come on here and give people actionable, truthful advice. If I was on here trying to be your friends, if I was on here, you know, maybe trying to be liked by everybody, my answers would be different. But like, I'm not on here to be liked by everybody. I'm not on here to be nobody's friend. I'm on here to give you um not my opinion, unless I am saying this is my opinion, unless I am saying this is what I would do personally, unless I am saying I'm speculating. I speak in fact, and if people don't like that, that's okay. Um, that's plenty fine. That's okay. I would rather speak in fact and have that come true than gas everybody up and put people into a wrong spot. Because there's one thing that I would hate is to have somebody instill a portion of trust in me and then put them in a bad spot where they're out of business, where they're bankrupt, where they've run debt by me preaching or recommending a business model that doesn't work. So you're never going to get that out of me, for better and for worse. But you know, I need to be able to put my head on my pillow at the end of the night and know that I gave honest, actionable, factual, truthful advice, and I'm not on here bamboozling anybody or selling anybody a dream, telling anybody this is get rich quick. This is work. Is it the best way to multiply money? In my opinion, absolutely it is. But this is not get rich quick. This is not get rich for sure. This is work. This is hard. Um, the times will be hard. There will be harder times coming, and we have to be prepared. I've seen some things in the last couple of days, and I'm going to have a video coming out soon. I've seen some things in the last couple of days that are, honestly troubling for the future of reselling. And if you are depending on the low hanging fruit, if you are depending on the bottom of the barrel, I think sooner than later, it's going to be very, very difficult for you. And if we are not gaining an expertise, I think we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I'm going to have a video coming out soon. I can't speak about everything, but like I've seen some scary things, man. And I'm telling you right now, I've been on this microphone for thousands of hours. Not a single thing I've said someone can point to and say, "Yo, you was wrong about that." Not one time. Thousands of hours I've been on this microphone. I'm telling you right now, the stuff that I've seen this week is it's scary, man. So we got to get on our game. Otherwise, we're going to get put out of the game. Dan says, didn't notice the live notification, but here and already hit the like button. Very good. Thank you. What do you think is the biggest difference? Chat jumps. Hold on. Chat jumps. There we go. What do you think is the biggest differences between being a mom and pop retailer versus a reseller entrepreneur? I mean, there's a lot of mom and pops that do the same thing as us. I think if you're talking brick and mortar versus online, I mean, brick and mortar, you have to drive all of your own traffic, and driving all of your own traffic is very difficult. And also the access of customers that you have are probably within a 10-mile radius, where online you're open 24 hours a day, your brick and mortar closes at 6 or 8, and your cash register stops ringing and you're out of business until you unlock the door the next day. So, you aren't in business 24 hours a day. With reselling, you are. You have a 10-mile radius to a subset of people. You have to drive all of your own traffic, where eBay will drive the traffic for you, and you have access to 8 billion people on the face of the earth. Why do work when you can just take pics, blast them out, and beg others to do the work for you? That is Ray. that is not me. We have to make a clarification. I was reading that as if that was a question. That was Ray Parker, not me. Would you ever create a reseller stain remover for clothing? Could be lucrative. We already have that in the group. We have Michelle's super secret, top secret, only in Michelle's section of the document, secret formula. We have that. When I send an offer, I tend to type that I'm clearing my inventory, so here's a discount for you. I don't know if that's counterproductive. What are your thoughts? Hey, if it's working for you, go for it, man. Ruby Wood, channel member, shout out to you. Finally made a live. Shout out. How you doing? Mark says, if you list an item and it sells in less than a week, if you find it again, should you price it higher? What is a good time to sell an item without underpricing it? I think if you sell an item where you've deemed it too fast, Just check the market. The market is the market, man. And if the market says you did a great job, then don't question yourself. Just go out and do it again. Should I be an everything seller or a niche seller? I have no idea. You have to answer that question for you. I'm not in your shoes. I don't know your expectations. I don't know your financial position. I don't know your family position. I don't know where you live. I don't know anything about you. But you know, look for items that you can make a profit on. Study the eBay machine. Study the actives. Study the solds. See what you like to do. See what you can find. See what you can turn a profit on, and then go from there. We all start out on as an everything seller. And then we get more selective. Michael says, is there a Techonomics 2.0? I need to make a Techonomics 2.0, but right now I've been having too much fun having guests on the podcast. But the Techonomics 2.0 is a different version of that about scalability. So I will make that one maybe when I get back from New York. Is there any type of store that should offer free shipping? There are some stores that should. If the market dictates that you should offer free shipping, then that's what you should do. What markets dictate free shipping? Probably a widget for iPhone cables, chargers, things like that. Those should probably do free shipping. How many people are in the chat? Mine's stuck at 314. 314 people in the chat, or are we stuck? 414. Let's go. Strong showing at an early afternoon. I appreciate you guys, all of you. Your opinion on the apps that help you list and delist, if you agree in using them, which one is the best in your opinion? I have no experience with any of the cross-listing apps or anything like that personally. Sourcing routes advice, I think go to as many places as possible, touch as many items as possible, and get your routes on Google Maps. But you have to go to as many places, give yourselves the most amount of opportunities with the most amount of knowledge. What is the best way to go from a beginner seller to a professional? Research, expertise, and experience. Maestro says, just stop to say what's up. First time catching a live. We appreciate you. Did you hit the thumbs up? Do you print and ship one item at a time? I do personally. What is the best tip to go from 500K seller to 1 million seller? Double down on what's working, literally double your business on what's working. Don't wake up tomorrow and try to do something differently. Double down on what's working. Double down on what's working. Have you thrifted fleas up near Pensacola, Northwest Florida? I have not yet, but I will pretty soon. My local thrifts puts jeans on sales for $1 for one day. Most average a sold price of 15 to 20 a pair, but it may take months to sell. Should I just buy as many as possible and wait for them to sell? That is a business model. And if you're happy doing that and it's going to pay your bills and you have the storage capacity to do so, do it. Do it. If you don't want that business model of a little bit of a slower sell through, then don't do it. But if you can find a way to make money and every single business model works, you just have to figure out how to make it work. That is going to work, but it's going to require a larger store. And that's fine. If you have no problem carrying a larger store, that's fine. I know this depends on stores, but do you know how many items to post each day in order to sell 200 a day? So you have to reverse engineer it. You have to figure out what your average profit is. You have to figure out how many items you sell per day on average. And then you have to figure out how many items you need to sell per day on average at your average profit in order to know what store size you need to have. So as an example, if you have 1,000 items and you sell 10 items a day and every single item makes $10 profit, you have $100 profit. So you now know you could do the math backwards and you'll figure out that you need to have a 2,000 item store to sell 20 items a day at a $10 profit to give you $20 to give you $200 profit. Now that's just round numbers. That's just an example. That is not a rule. That is not a fact. And that's also considering that everything remains exactly the same. The chat jumped. Chat jumped. Remember, when I beat the chat, it's a wrap. How long have we been on for? Almost an hour. When I beat the chat, it's a wrap, guys. What is one of the biggest difficulties you ran into during your eBay career? Getting the post office to scan my items on a daily basis and preventing the business from going into a humongous crash and explosion because I have tracking uploaded on time and validated defects 250, 300 at a time. So getting my items scanned on time was a humongous challenge for me. eBay failed to authenticate an authentic item, anything I should do. I personally would not relist that item, and they probably did not authenticate it because it was not as described. For 50,000 subscribers, can you let your viewers choose an outfit for you to wear? Sir Pedro, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? Only if you purchase the items and you make me look good. I'm not wearing no silly stuff, Sir Pedro. I'm not here for anyone's entertainment. I'm not a clown. I'm 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 here to do good work and be taken seriously. Do you think eBay favors those that list in the same categories? Um, I personally do, and this is speculation, and I can only point to two examples of this. There was a time in my reselling career where I was listing 120 items every single day. And what I would do is all week I would save up hats to get 120 hats to give myself a easier listing day on Saturday or Sunday, because on Saturday and Sunday, I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to the flea market, be out there till 12, 2 o'clock in the scorching sun, and I would be beat by the time I got home. So the last thing I wanted to do was list 150, 120 items of clothing and photograph them. So I would take it easy. I would list 120 hats, list 120 hats. When I listed more hats, I sold more hats. So if there was times where I didn't have enough hats to list, over the course of a couple of weeks, a couple of months, my hat sales would taper off. But then when I listed more, my old hats would start selling. That's example number one. Example number two is the listing quality report. When it was out for everybody, everything was broken down on a category by category basis, all the way towards if you receive negative or neutral feedback in a particular category. And what that tells me is they are judging us on a category basis. So I personally believe, and it's speculation, that we should be as active as possible in as many as our categories as often as possible. Do you still have the landscaping business? I do. You didn't see Arwen working on the landscaping business when we had the reseller rescue video? He was out there laying grass with us in the rain, soaking wet. Stacy says, will you be coming to the UK to see how our car boots and charity shops work? Absolutely, I will. Sir Pedro says the group has a really good stain remover that he uses it to this day. Absolutely. That's Michelle. I can't take credit for that. That's Michelle's. Lupita says they are in the appliance category. They often get item not subscribed returns for item not working. When the item is returned and retested, the item is indeed working. When issuing a refund, I enter that item. It looks like you got cut off. Biggest impact you can make on your store going back through old and making new listings. The biggest impact that you can make on your store is to learn eBay and learn your customer. If you do not know eBay, if you do not know the best way to operate eBay, you're at a severe disadvantage. If you don't know your customer and know how to target your customer, again, you are at a severe disadvantage. Do you think reselling will be a viable job in the next 5 to 10 years? What do you think will be the key to having success long term? I do think it will be viable. However, it will change, and eBay and reselling always changes. I mean, look, reselling has been around since before the Bible. So like reselling is not going to go anywhere. Will it look differently than it does today? 10,000%. It will look different than what it does today. Will everybody in this chat still be here in 5 or 10 years? The answer is absolutely not. We have to get better and we have to do more. And when I say that we have to get better and we have to do more, people don't want to hear that. But I'm telling you the truth. You have to get better and you have to do more. What are your best tips for running auction listings on eBay? We need to have items that are highly sought after with a following or that are rare. If you're listing saturated run-of-the-mill items, those are going to suffer on an auction format. White Tree Sales says they're in Salem, New Hampshire, found clothes items to sell at a local flea market by looking at piles that I've walked past previously. Thank you for inspiring me. Shout out to you. Thank you. Guys, hit the thumbs up button. Let's go. We got to beat a record here. My buddy wants to sell scrap wood and custom wood cutouts. Is eBay the best online marketplace for this or somewhere else in your opinion? Maybe Etsy is good. That's more for the handmade items. eBay has tremendous traffic, and with the right keywords, you can still sell the items. I would probably list those on multiple platforms personally. Maybe even consider getting your own Shopify store and running some targeting Facebook and Instagram ads. Have you ever thrifted in Chicagoland? I have not, but I have got a lot of dead stock from Chicago once upon a time. It's on my Instagram. Keen, what's happening, man? Everybody go to Keen's channel. Someone talk to Keen. He runs an awesome YouTube channel, especially if you like sports card. Keen is the man. Keen's been with me for a long time. He started out around the 100,000. I don't want to put Keen's business in the streets, but he is doing way more than that. So shout out to Keen. You talk a lot about AI threatening the reselling industry. Do you think building a personal brand will help combat becoming obsolete or irrelevant moving forward? I think that is a great aspect to do so. And Keen, you'll like this. I had Carrie on from American Arbitrage, the one who sold the Caitlin Clark card for $35,000 or so. And I'm going to release that podcast today inside of the group. It'll come out on YouTube in about a month. So Keen, definitely check that one out. We do talk about building a personal brand. Building a personal brand is very, very important, especially going forward. I truly believe everybody should have some kind of exposure on social media in a personal brand capacity. And we can look no further than our good friend Renzi, who was on the podcast last week. So check out that podcast if you didn't see it. And I had somebody message me this morning on Instagram, and they were confused, and they were saying, why are items that Renzi is selling cheaper on eBay? This cannot be a sustainable business model. And it can absolutely be a sustainable business model because people are buying into the excitement, people are buying into the adrenaline rush, and people are buying into the experience. So there is no doubt in my mind that Renzi can continue to command a premium on his items because he's selling an experience, and selling the experience is going to command more money. So Keen, absolutely, definitely check out the Carrie Retail Arbitrage podcast. A lot of you guys probably know Carrie from the Trash to Cash podcast. We had him on. He was actually serious for a change, and he is very thought provoking. He is very intelligent. He knows his stuff. He's been in the game for a long time. He has built a humongous social media following with over 1 million people following him across all platforms. I found the conversation very engaging. So Keen, check that one out. I'm gonna put it out today. Juanita, how you doing? The chat jumped. All right, let me find where we were. YOLO Flip says, study the sold listings. Can you give advice on that or elaborate on improvement in that exercise? You got to click sold, and you have to look for these reoccurring patterns. And every time you see a pattern, that's what you have to dive into, and that's what you have to study. When are you coming to Pensacola? I'm not sure. Hopefully soon. Lachey, how are you doing? I don't know if I've seen you in the live. I know you watch every single video, and I appreciate you always dropping a comment. We're doing great. Thank you for asking. How do we get on eBay's new Explore page? Right now, it's kind of rolling in and out. If you know someone that is on the Explore page, ask them for the URL, because the URL is going to be a little bit different. But some people have it rolls back. Some people have it rolls back. It's going to be one of those things that rolls back and forth. Would you sell Harley Davidson rally shirts and HD apparel, chaps, jackets, and coats? I would absolutely do it, so long as they are licensed by Harley Davidson or somebody that does carry the license, like Bravado. Best way to store hats, we store them chronologically on shelves. Did your family like the life you had to live to be the best in the business? My wife is here. Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up. So hey, it's worth it. So and guys, don't get confused. You guys only see me for 20 minutes a day at the flea market. We do tons of stuff. Like I wasn't working 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. That's just all you guys know me for. Like, as soon as I close this computer, like Tekken Sports, the super serious eBay guy, like that guy goes away. Like, I'm going to walk around the rest of the day and enjoy myself and have fun. I'm going to hang out with my family and enjoy myself and have fun. Did I have to be disciplined to do it? Absolutely. Did I have to make some sacrifices? Absolutely. But like, I wasn't chained to the computer for 25 hours a day. Did it take, some sacrifices? Sure. But was it worthwhile? Absolutely, it was worthwhile, because the alternative to this is like, it's scary to think about. And now we are extremely fortunate, and everybody is happy, everybody is good. And I've been outlining this plan that we're doing now for the last 5 years in the group, and it's played out exactly how I was going to do it. I told everybody 5 years ago, when I was going to start scaling down the store, I told everybody when I was going to stop selling clothing. I told everybody when I was going to stop traveling. And in the last 8 weeks, we've been home for 2 weeks. And in the next 5 weeks, we ain't even going to be home. So like we will be traveling. We will be going around. We will be doing fun stuff. Um, you got to sacrifice a little bit. And when something's working, you have to go for it. Like people are scared to go for it. Like I found something that worked, and I went for it. I went for it. And if you're finding something that works, double down, go for it, man. It might take a little bit of sacrifice, but the payout is tremendous. But again, like you guys see me for 1 hour, and when I turn off the computer and I'm done doing my job, because here I'm doing a job. I'm doing a job to give you pertinent, actionable reselling advice or business advice. So that way you guys can better your life, you guys can better your business. But like when I turn this off, I still have 23 more hours today where like I'm rocking and rolling. Um, um, Armani says, I know you'll dominate each city you visit, but I can't wait to see the cities that's the worst, where you dominate the least. Guys, I've already been to flea markets where the population of the city is 3,500 people and walked out with over $1,000. Like I'm fully confident it's going to happen. I'm going to do it. Fully confident. Buyer reached out and said they didn't receive the item. Sale was 7 months ago. Tracking no longer shows delivered, but an eBay order detail showed it was delivered 4 days after the sale. Will I be okay? You will be perfectly fine. It's outside of any kind of eBay buyer protection. Um, do you think a bookseller can make six-figure income just selling on eBay? Absolutely, they can. I don't wash clothes. Is that a bad thing? Technically speaking, the pre-owned clothing policy for eBay, you do have to wash the clothing. That is the eBay policy for pre-owned clothing. I have almost beat the chat. So you guys are going to be finished and out of here. You guys are on the ropes. How long did it take for you to become a millionaire? I mean, it's subjective. Like some people, it takes a long time, and life is long. We think that life is short, but guys, I only had to get after this for 15 years, and now I'm set up forever. And really and truly, like I've been set up forever for a long time. Like my bank account has been nice for a long time. I've been just pumping up the score and doing this for fun. How is your phone not overheating or dead right now? Good question, Sir Pedro. Here's the phone. Here's the hotspot. This is a PC. What are your thoughts on sourcing small electronics and video game consoles from e-waste recyclers? I know people that are doing fantastic doing that. Have you ever considered having newer sellers on the podcast or doing more reseller rescues? I will do more reseller rescues when I start traveling around more. So I'm going to start posting where I'm at, what I'm doing, and hopefully if you're in the area, we can meet up. I can help you out, give you some actionable advice, and hopefully help your business. I've had newer sellers on the podcast before, and again, newer is subjective. I've had people that have been selling for a year or 2 or 3 years. Carrie, she's been in the game for a couple of years. She's doing fantastic. Carrie at home, shout out to her. So I've had new sellers on. Would I have a seller that knows absolutely nothing? Like that's a hard conversation to have. I need a little bit of back and forth. Did you ever read any books written on eBay reselling back in the day when you started reselling? I did not. What do you think is going to change about how customers shop in the future? Do you think live shopping is going to surpass eBay at some point? I don't think so. I think live selling has its difficulties. I think that to tell me to log on to a live selling platform and wait and hope and hopefully win a bid for an item that I want, no, thank you. I'll go on eBay or go on Amazon and buy the exact item that I want and be done in 2 minutes and then carry on with my day. So I think that's the bottleneck for live selling. Is live selling fun? Yeah. Is live selling addicting to some people? Absolutely it is. But you're not going to catch me waiting around for hours hoping somebody lists a Miami Marlins hat in size 7 1/8. I'm not going to do it. I'll go on eBay. How long does it take to tell? How long do things take to sell in your brick and mortar versus eBay? So in the brick and mortar store, we try to revolve the store every 7 to 14 days, where we have a daily markdown strategy where on Friday it's the most expensive, the following Thursday it's the cheapest. And then when things have been there for 1 or 2 weeks, we take them off and we sell them at whatnot. Where eBay, when I was doing 250 items a day selling and listing, my sell-through was 6 months. I also had 10,000 square feet. So I could afford to wait. I had a highly profitable business, so I didn't need an extremely fast sell-through. when I had 120 items in my listing, selling and listing, I targeted a 90-day sell through. Keen says, Carrie is such a genuine dude. Thanks for answering my question about social media. Love Ed's insight. I need to pick your brain about this more in the next group call. Absolutely. Yeah, I had a really good time talking to Carrie. I offer 1-day shipping. How do you handle someone who pays for one and then messages that they want one more but do not pay the invoice within 1 day? So you can either hold the item and ship. You would get a late shipment. You can call eBay. eBay could remove it, but one late shipment is not going to sink your battleship. Don't worry about it. Or you can ship them separately. It's up to you. Real Vibe says, today is one of the days that I don't mind you being in the chat. Enjoy the beautiful day with your family. I appreciate that. Valerie says, just got a Daytona Bike Week shirt, 90 single stitch. Shout out to you. Good work. Almost beat the chat. If you're coming to Santa Fe, New Mexico, yeah, I'll pass through there. Why always Marlins hats? Any other teams you're into? It's not, I like the Marlins, but you will always catch me in a Florida hat because I will always represent for the home team. Always. Even though they're trash, even though they're struggling, I will always represent for the home team. You will never, ever, ever catch me in a hat that does not represent the home team. I am very loyal. Do you have any suggestions or strategies on how to source on eBay, like sniping, and how to find items that are underpriced but are worth it? Any items you've had more success than with others? So I do have a sniping call inside of the morning call section where I give all of my super top secret tools that aggregates all the eBay listings and all the listings from the internet worldwide. If you're going to snipe, you have to have an expertise. If you're going to snipe, more often than not, you're going to have deeper pockets because the cost of goods is going to be higher, and you're going to have to wait longer for the item to show up. So you have to have 1000%, you have to have an expertise. Would you advise someone to go into a brick and mortar? I mean, you can, it works. My brick and mortar does phenomenal, but just like everything, it takes work, man. And if you don't have a good staff, you don't have good people, you'll be ringing the cash register, and you have to measure, is that worthwhile? Is that worth your time, or does it cost you money? Most you've paid and least you've made on an item, I don't know, man. I have sold hundreds of thousands of items. I have no idea. But I don't play the small margin games, my friend. I don't play the small margin game. So you're going to sport a Dolphins hat at some point? Maybe, Eric. You never know. And Sir Pedro says, I sport a Yankees fitted off the stream. That is 1000% incorrect. And Sir Pedro knows me in real life, and he never has ever caught me in a Yankees hat off the stream or on the stream. And like Sir Pedro said it, he said it. We are at the last question. How many people was in the chat? That's it. Game over. Sir Pedro called it. It is a wrap. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in here with us today. I knocked out every single question. 48 week in a row. Beat the chat world champion right here. This guy beat the chat world champion. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I always appreciate you guys rocking with us. If you do have a question, you missed the live, post in the comments below. I'll knock out every single question in the comments. Get every single time, guys. Every single time you guys watch one of my videos, post a comment. Help me out with the algorithm here. Just say, here to help the algorithm. Just help me out with the algorithm. Drop a post, give a thumbs up, help me out with the algorithm. I respond to every single question you guys ask. I respond to every single comment. Just type in, I'm just here for the algorithm. Give me comments from here till I quit eBay. I'm here for the algorithm. Here you go. Do you want some beef stir fry? I appreciate it. No, thank you. We just got offered free food. Shout out to that lady. Yeah, hit me with the algo, man. I respond to every single question. And I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. As always, be great. Thank you.